With all this drama in the LBC, kind of hard being Frank the Devil G. What's up, my friends from film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us just a little bit of your time. Plenty of stuff to go into tonight. Plenty of stuff, I tell you, as I slowly click around all the things I have to click around on. Still getting used to this setup, but getting there. Again, all kinds of cool stuff to go into tonight, and I, as usual, have my amazing group of film fans and awesome motherfuckers to talk about shit with, as well as all you awesome people in the chat. Thank you so much. And the first one, obviously, is the Dowager Countess Lady Cora. How are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm all right. Work's been a bear this week, but you know, it pays for the extra drone parts that I needed to order.
we
I crashed it.
Missile launchers?
No, like these little tiny plastic like propeller blades.
Oh, okay.
Missile
launchers would be way cooler. So you should think about that addition.
250 grams. I don't think you can hold up a Q-tip while it's flying. But hey, if missiles become the size of a Q-tip, we're in business. So.
Well, you never know. I mean, they have that. Hey, have you ever seen a James Bond movie? Let's find out. Let's find Q.
I don't have a Q. I need a Q in my life.
Let's get some designs going. Also with us today is my hetero life mate, Jeremy. What's going on with you today, brother?
Just enjoying the whiplash that the weather gave us.
You know what? Today was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it went from 90 to 65 like I saw a fucking state trooper.
Yeah. But
I realized it was the first day of fall, and it was like, oh, wait, right. I'm supposed to, do that.
Oh, yeah, we're supposed to be cooler now. Whatever. Yeah, today was awesome. It was really sad that I was stuck inside my store all day doing work stuff. But hey, whatever. I'll get a chance to enjoy some of this fall weather. That's the thing about where we live. We have about 2 weeks in the spring and 2 weeks in the fall where the weather's kind of perfect. Yeah. And then it's either way too fucking hot or way too fucking cold. So that's one of the things that happens here in the country.
That's what the orange is for. It is, I guess, officially spooky season. And if you notice, I had the vest back out. It is that time again.
Damn right. And of course, our man, the shape from the Lone Star State, my man Tex. What's up with you today, brother?
Oh, what's this thing y'all call fall? It's still 97 degrees here. I don't know what that is. So it's still like blistering hot outside. I don't know what this.
Just have 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's like
summer, and you
just up here in the north, we experienced it all in about a week.
So. Yeah.
Actually, there's been times where we experienced all 4 seasons in one day down here, and that's not even an exaggeration. But no, we're still in the sweltering days of pre-Halloween, and that's so goes life in the great state of Texas. But it's all good. So happy to be here, and let's do this thing.
Yeah, Daniel Taj has this bit that he's done on some of his stand-up. He says he talks about the weather and people who live in places that are cold that like winter. And one of the things that people say is, I like seasons. He goes, yeah, I like seasons too. That's why I'm glad I grew up in a place that skips the shitty ones. He grew up in Florida. I grew up in California. I'm like, I liked being able, when I was a kid, I loved being able to go surfing Christmas morning before I did all the family stuff. It was great. It was awesome. Here, it's like, it's just ice everywhere most of the time. But anyway, But I digress. We have plenty of stories to get into today. And Lady Cora, what is the first topic that we're going to be diving into today?
Well, Cobra Kai is the topic, and it has proven to be one of Netflix's most consistent, successful series of all time. It just released its 5th season on Netflix as a spin-off sequel series of the original 1984 movie, The Karate Kid. The success and love of Cobra Kai has found with viewers has now led to an exciting announcement for all Cobra Kai fans. A new Karate Kid movie is in the works. The movie has been officially announced by Sony Columbia Pictures and has a release date set for June 7th, 2024. However, that's as far as it goes when it comes to information about the new Karate Kid movie as of yet. No stars, directors, or writers have been announced, and there are no plot details at this time of writing. The only thing we know is that it is a return to the original Karate Kid franchise. Frank, what do you think of another theatrical Karate Kid movie?
Well, actually, there is some news that dropped a little earlier today, actually, that I didn't get a chance to put into the lead-in, is they have announced, oddly enough, that yes, this movie is still in the works. Now, it should be pointed out that it is not 100% certain that this movie is actually going to happen, but they're moving forward with it as if they want it to. But they have said that this will actually not involve any of the original cast or any of the cast of Cobra Kai.
Ooh.
This will be a 100% new movie that will exist in the Karate Kid universe, but will not have any of the characters that we know of. What makes us kind of wonder about where do they want to try to go with this thing, because we had that Will Smith produced thing with his son Jaden Smith and with Jackie Chan several years ago, which was a fun movie in and of itself, but it didn't quite carry the magic of the original Karate Kid film. But you kind of wonder, what are they going to do with it? Are they going to try to bring Jaden Smith's character into this universe? I certainly hope not, because the thing looked weird over the years. Is it going to be a totally new character? Is it now? There's a lot of rumors going around there. One that I actually kind of like, that this movie is going to be a prequel, and we're going to see some of the young Mr. Miyagi growing up in Okinawa, maybe even his transition from Okinawa to the United States, and some of the things that went on in his life prior to finding Daniel LaRusso. So that's an interesting concept to me, but that makes the most sense to me, and I think there's something there, because Miyagi is a good character, one that we all kind of like to watch and kind of get lost in. So it seems like that'd be the most logical place to go. But if they just went down the road of, we're doing another karate dojo somewhere else, somewhere in California, or maybe even try moving the location of New York or Miami or something like that, try to do it differently, I don't know how you can make it a real Karate Kid movie and not have a real strong connective tissue to the original. I don't know, Tex, what do you think?
Obviously love the original. I'll say I love the first two. Anything after that, I'm kind of about. And then Cobra Kai came out, and I've seen the first 4 seasons. I haven't seen the 5th. It hasn't. I'm kind of in spooky season for my viewing stuff right now, so I haven't caught season 5. I've heard mixed reviews on it, good and bad, but if it's not Ralph Macchio and Mr. Miyagi, it's not Karate Kid for me. I didn't like the Will Smith remake or the one with the girl. So, and I mean, we've just had 5 seasons of a Netflix show. Do we need a movie? Or like the TV show Community, are they going for that 6 seasons in a movie thing that they always talked about or whatever? But I don't know. If it's not connected, I'm not sure how well it will do, honestly. Maybe they're just riding the bandwagon of, oh, this show's hot on Netflix, let's go make a movie out of it. We'll see how well it does, but probably go to streaming either way.
True. I mean, Jeremy, I don't know. Jeremy, I don't know if you've been watching Cobra Kai or not. I think we've talked about it before, but I don't remember. I mean, what do you think this movie could look like?
Well, considering it has absolutely nothing to do with anyone that has everything to do with the Karate Kid, I have no fucking idea. But that just already sounds like a red flag to me.
Right.
Well,
this is another. Well, I guess now I need to stop saying 30. I need to start saying 40-year sequels. Like, we need to quit doing this shit. Like, you already have a success. Like we said, you already have a pretty successful spinoff, sequel, prequel, anthology, universal, whatever the fuck now show.
Right.
Just keep doing that. I mean, I know you want to keep milking the cow. You found another little dangly bit, and you're like, ooh, what's in that thing? And come to find out, you're grabbing a cow dick. Like, what do you?
That's not an udder. Yeah, that's a something else down there. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it would have anything to do with Jaden Smith. That would be kind of weird and kind of break a lot of continuity. I thought it's supposed to be its own kind of retelling, reboot, remake of the movie, whatever. So I don't know. Just leave the Smiths out of it. I think it's just a good, tip for life, just for anything.
Well, Will Smith, a lot of people may not realize Cobra Kai. He's listed as a producer, but I mean, that doesn't mean anything. He probably doesn't have anything to do with the movie. It's probably something contractually that says, we were planning on doing a sequel to the one with your son, but it didn't do very well. A lot of people didn't like it. So we're not going to do it. Instead, we're going to do this Cobra Kai thing. And he's like, well, I'll let it happen without giving you a bunch of shit in court if you make me a producer on it. And that's, so I would imagine that's probably what it's all about. But I don't know. Cora, what do you think? I mean, I don't know how versed you are in the Karate Kid universe, but what do you think this movie could look like?
I'm a kid of the 80s. I watched the first and the second movie, and that's about it. Truth be told, I'm not much of a Netflix person, so I don't really go on see the content. I will log into it and watch something very specific if I've heard about something. So I knew of the Cobra Kai thing, but I haven't touched it yet. But if they want to make a prequel about Mr. Miyagi, fucking awesome. You know, I mean, I'm all for it. But if they're just gonna do, and I mean, no offense, but I heard about the one they did with the girl. Like, come on, you
Hillary
know?
Swank.
Yeah, like let's let's not make this an SJW thing. Just like do something cool about Karate Kid. Like don't make this.
I doubt the movie would have anything to do with her because there's a lot of whispers that she may be involved in the next season of Cobra Kai.
Okay.
So, not anything certain, but they've asked the showrunners about it and they've asked her about it, and both of them have given those kind of political answers. They talk around it rather than saying a solid yes or no.
Right.
Now, I would imagine maybe something next season because there was rumors that maybe she was going to pop in this season, but she's got that new show that she's on right now that she just started. That is, I think its first season just dropped, so she's kind of busy on that. I forget the name of the show. It looked interesting. I saw the trailers; it looked all right. So maybe she's too busy on that to have gotten into this season. But the next season, I mean, it's entirely possible that she pops in next season as kind of a. As kind of somebody that can help remind, I don't know, for example, it kind of help remind Daniel of some of the teachings of Mr. Miyagi, since she learned under Miyagi as well. And they already had the connection to that movie. I know, Tex, I know you haven't seen this season, but there is a character that shows up towards the end of season 5 that is in the third movie that kind of bridges that gap a little bit. Not a major character, not somebody who's significant to the franchise overall, but somebody that when I saw the character, I was like, holy shit. Been such a long time. I didn't know they would put this person out of the mothballs to put him in this.
Hasn't Cobra Kai besides Hillary Swank, haven't they pretty much milked the Karate Kid franchise for, callbacks of previous whatevers? I can't think of anybody major that they haven't brought back besides her.
True.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, if your whole gimmick is, this season, this person shows up, well, she's kind of bottom of the barrel as far as all that goes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in these days of streaming, they'll put anything on just to fill up that space to get your $20 a month or whatever it is now for Netflix. So,
That's true. But, I mean, I'm curious as to what they do with it. Like I said, my favorite idea is the one that I've heard about this being kind of a Miyagi prequel where you go back and see the young Mr. Miyagi
see how Miyagi learns wax on, wax off, and do all the trainings and whatnot.
Well, I mean, maybe going back that far. I mean, because if you think about it, you'd be going back to the 30s if you really wanted to go into a really young Mr. Miyagi and him learning karate. So, I mean, that'd be an interesting period piece. I personally think, hey, wouldn't it be interesting to see him because he fought in World War II, as I recall.
I've got the perfect crossover with another '90s franchise. We resurrect the old Ninja Turtle movies where they were in the costumes, right? They went back in time in the third movie. They're both karate properties. Let's just match these things up. Somehow the Ninja Turtles, they travel through time and they land in the Karate Kid universe, and then you can have your whole karate.
World War
or
II.
Captain America. We can marvel this thing. We can make this MCU official, and Ralph Macchio could be an Avenger or something. That'd be great. I mean, let's do this thing. Why not?
Anything's better than going back to some of these like lesser characters. I mean, Jesus Christ, there was a lot of focus on bonsai trees the last couple episodes of season 5. So I'm like, if we're giving serious screen time to the shrubbery, then maybe we need to start planning our exit strategy for this whole series. But I don't know. I mean, go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. With the success of Cobra Kai, we are looking at another Karate Kid film in the Karate Kid universe, but it's not going to involve any of the people that we know from the universe, either the Karate Kid show or the Karate Kid movies that we've had so far. So let us know in the comments below what you guys think about the idea of a Karate Kid movie. And Lady Cora, what's the next topic we'll be talking about tonight?
Well, this is right up Jeremy's alley. The Walking Dead is firmly in the home stretch as the hit AMC zombie show prepares to air its final episode on November 20th. But while the flagship series is ending, it's safe to say that AMC's programming schedule will be filled with zombies for the foreseeable future. That's probably good for people who have mastered the art of, like zombie extra. Anyways, in addition to the current spin-offs, Fear the Walking Dead and Tales of the Walking Dead, the cable network is developing a new limited series starring Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero.
Guerrera.
Thank you.
Yeah, Guerrera. Yeah.
Reprising their roles as Rick Grimes and Michonne, and a separate spin-off about Norman Reedus' Daryl Dixon. In a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, Dixon expressed his excitement about the new spin-off after years of developing the series. He's thrilled to be moving forward with a show that he hopes can rival the original. Jeremy, what do you think of a Daryl-led Walking Dead spin-off? And are you sad about the main show ending? I'm dying to know that.
You're dying. Don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess who else better than someone who's been watching this show since day one, since the very beginning, has seen every episode of like every damn spinoff, every other show, and all that jazz. I mean, a Daryl-led series. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been leading the series for the last like.
I was going to say, have you watched the last 4 seasons of the show? It's pretty much Daryl.
Yeah, it's Daryl. He's kind of. I mean, I'm not mad to be. I mean, let's think way back now. He's not even actually a character from the comics. He's completely original. I mean, honestly, he went out for the audition of Rooker's character Merle, and they liked him so much, they're like, fuck it, he's gonna have a brother, and it's gonna be you. So if that doesn't speak to, you know. It's nice that he's integrated into the show as well as he is. That, you know, we've seen with Marvel, and you see with this being a comic book derivative show. It's like you got to move pieces around. Some things happen to different characters at different times and crap like that. So it's nice to have him lead now, because, you know, with Rick kind of gone. I don't know why he couldn't have just stuck it out like one more season or 2, whatever. Well, now since he's been gone. 2 more. I mean, he left in like season 9, so now he could have just done the next 2. And I know he misses his family. That's a big commitment to go to, but I mean, I'm excited. You tell me Andrew Lincoln. You tell me Denai Guerrera. I'm fucking in. You give me Rick and Michonne back.
But here's the problem with that, though. We were promised 3 Rick-focused Walking Dead movies that have already supposed to have came out by this point, but have yet to even have a script written for them. So I don't believe any of that garbage until I see a trailer and a premiere date.
Well, I don't believe anything until I see it either. I'm just saying. I mean, we had a real life apocalypse happen in that time period. That's kind of what screwed it. Ironically, in the first place.
This was even pre-pandemic that pre-lockdown there was at least one of them that was supposed to have came out. And during all the lockdown stuff, Andrew Lincoln flew to Canada to film another horror film. So you're telling me he couldn't fly here to film a Walking Dead property? You know, I'm going to call shenanigans.
I don't make movies. I don't make big budget crap like that. I know there's probably more to it. But I mean, I don't know. I thought that maybe is what kind of, you know, I'd hate to use dead in the water, but that's what happened.
The floating dead instead of the Walking Dead.
Yeah. Kind of that last little bit of the
Walking Dead the Walking Dead on a houseboat. That's the spinoff that we need.
Well, we kind of had that in Fear when we had the
they should do a crossover with the Lifetime network and have like a Walking Dead wedding planner
so
they have to go around and plan weddings amidst all the zombies.
Is this new show? It's going to take place in Europe, correct, or France or something?
Yes, that's something I was actually just
going to start saying that. There's no way that you bomb dropped us at the end of what the hell was the other? There's so many goddamn shows now. World Beyond. There's no way that in World Beyond you bomb drop at the end in France, where I guess it supposedly started. You have that little scene with, that scene with the girl at the computer, and she's talking to Dr. Jenner, who we saw from way back in season 1. And I'm like,
he was in the center, and he said that's where,
because he said there was only one other group that was, or a center that was working as long as
the French,
So, and I don't know French, but apparently across that, when it widens up to that wide shot of the room, that phrase that said across, and now I'm blanking because I don't remember what the hell it said now, but it was very important. It said like something about like that. I don't know. It was like that's where it started. So you see the guy, and then he comes in, he shoots the girl, then like, you know, she slumps over, but then gets back up. But she got up pretty damn fast, and she also like sprinted at the door and still seemed to have some sort of cognitive ability, and she knew what she was doing as a walker. So I'm like, this is a whole nother layer here, and I'm like, I hope we explored that, because you wouldn't just tell us that.
Because of the showrunner. That was Frank Darabont was his name.
Yeah,
the guy that originally did the show. Because if you go back and watch in those first scenes where Rick is in that little store, you see the walkers like picking up bricks and smashing windows, and they had weapons and stuff. It was more of a George Romero type zombie. And then when Frank Darabont left the show, that's when they kind of changed the mold or whatever. But my biggest question is, okay, this is a show that takes place in France, and somehow Daryl is there whenever these people are horse and buggy right now, but you can get halfway across the globe. I mean, how do you explain that one?
Well, that's
he's got wings on his vest.
Just some plot problems I have issues with.
That actually gets addressed.
You're worried about plot problems in a zombie apocalypse show? I mean,
yeah,
right.
that actually gets addressed a little bit in this article from IndieWire. It says the new vibe begins with the setting, as his spinoff will take place across the Atlantic Ocean, following Daryl after he wakes up in Europe without knowledge of how he got there and has to find his way back home. Hello, Jason Bourne. But as excited as Reedus is to be filming in Europe, the actor says the show's creative shift will encompass much more than just a new country. He was quoted as saying, "I've been going on location scouts here and stuff, but it's even more than just location. It's all the things we love about these characters and these shows, but it's going to be brand new, which I'm excited about. This is going to be fucking epic."
Well, initially, there was going to be a Carol show with Daryl as the spinoff, but she didn't want to do it, or they couldn't negotiate. I don't know how it fell through, but it came out that wasn't going to happen. So I guess this is what's taking its place or whatever, because, you know, Daryl, he's the fan favorite. I mean, the whole saying was for years, if Daryl dies, we riot or whatever. So I was never a Daryl fan. Merle was always my favorite, but, you know, I'm the asshole, you know. So it's I don't know. I'll try it, but if it's anything like Fear the Walking Dead or that World Beyond, I'm not going to stay long, because both of those are garbage at this point. So
I didn't need World Beyond. It was kind of I actually like Fear. Weirdly enough, I don't know.
Fear season 1 was good. 2 is acceptable. Yeah. Anything past that, don't waste your time. Yeah,
no, to be honest, you can't tell me it isn't badass watching John sit there and gunsling fucking zombies. Come on, you're from Texas.
It's got its cool moments, but overall as a show, it gets really weird when like what's his face, the guy that trained Rick, the black dude with the stick, Morgan.
Well, you found him. Yeah.
Whenever Morgan just shows up halfway across the country and they have to explain this whole time jump thing and everything else, that's when it gets really wonky for me with Fear the Walking Dead. But,
I mean, I know where it's technically behind the current show.
Right.
But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, the only thing is, I mean, I don't mind that they try new things. I think the thing is, like, it became like a weird, like, hey, here's cowboys and Indians.
Right.
And then here's just straight up, it's a Western now. And now it's a nuclear apocalypse on top of a zombie apocalypse. I'm like, that's kind of cool, but like,
well, if you like that, just go watch Z Nation, because like every episode has a different theme, which Z Nation is a tremendous show. It's a comedic take on the zombie apocalypse. If you haven't watched it, go see it, except for the last season, because that's garbage too. But yeah, I don't know, this Europe Walking Dead thing. Like I said, I'll try it, but
I feel like Deadpool, just fourth wall break, like that's just lazy writing. He just suddenly wakes up there.
Can I ask you a question, Jeremy?
What?
Are you expecting a lot from the series finale, or is this just going to be like kind of like a passing of the torch for all the spin-offs? Like, are you expecting something dramatic, or no?
I expect there's going to be something, but it's obviously going to leave it open for other shows, which I kind of hate that it does that, because I'm like, I want something big and epic and then have some finality to it, because this happened like a year or two ago now or something like that. Spoiler alert, if you haven't read the comics, you know how it ends.
Right.
That's what I was expecting, but now I don't know if that's going to happen.
They can't really do that. Well, they can't do that anymore. They don't have the characters to do it.
Well, and
how does it end in the comics?
It ends in the comics with we've seen the kid now, the kid who is the son of Pamela, who runs the Commonwealth, which I was reading through that thing again on from World Beyond. They mentioned Toledo, and the guy's like, Spain? He's like, no, Ohio. I'm like, see, Ohio is where the Commonwealth is at, so I don't know if that's a weird... but yeah, her son, it's kind of cheap, but like in a way, it's like that's how it would be and how it feels. You know how Rick's group does. Every time they come into something, they have to take it over and they have to kill the leader, and then now it's mine. It's kind of funny to watch it keep happening. But they do the same thing. They get in there. I think they make Maggie like one of the leaders as well, and then like Rick becomes like the leader of the army too. But like, you know, basically this kid who is a spoiled kid who's never had to fucking face a walker in his life and has everything done for him. He probably has his hair done in the morning by, you know, like that, like the beginning of Coming to America. Like everyone just does all this shit for him.
Right.
And he just walks in on Rick and he's basically pissed off at him. Like, you took everything from me. You took my whole life. And he just goes in and just shoots him right in his own bed, kills him. And then he turns into a walker. And I'm like, God damn, that's cold. After all that.
Wow.
And then it ends really. It flashes forward. Carl's now like full grown. He has a daughter of his own, and they have like a statue erected to Rick. And he's like got his little daughter on his lap and like explaining stories of Rick and like what happened and all that. So it's like, it's still, you know, you think what 10, 15 years has passed. He's an adult and he's got his own daughter, but like the world's still the way it is.
He's older, and it's pretty much like
it's a happy ending, which is really weird for that kind of comic.
The comic book happy ending is very much like it always reminds me of like watching Tombstone. You have like the traveling carnival that's entertaining people, and you know, I mean, they've obviously advanced some, but not so much where they've got like nuclear power and you know F-150s out in the driveway or whatever. But it's you know, obviously the show diverted years and years ago. Probably I'd say after season 4 or 5 is when
3.
or maybe even 3, is when they really took a hard, you know, turn to the other timeline in the Walking Dead universe, because all of the characters, they killed them off years ago. But I mean, I miss watching that show every Sunday night. That was appointment television for me. That was, you know, we're going to sit down and watch Walking Dead, and then for the next hour, we're going to watch Talking Dead, and then we're going to talk about it for 2 more hours. And, you know, that was it was a weekly tradition.
The Talking Dead show.
Oh,
I think it was a predecessor to all these podcasts that come out.
There you go.
You know,
that was one of the first shows to do that.
You got the Chris Hardwick. Oh, I didn't know they made one for him. I didn't know they made one for him. That's cool.
I didn't either. I was like, hey, a blood splattered Chris Hardwick? Hell yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And this man actually has my birthday too, by the way, which is pretty
cool. I mean, with Talking Dead, that was like, you know, we have to watch to get scoops on the next episode. And you didn't really learn.
Actually coming on was pretty epic. I mean, I remember that was because I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons of Walking Dead. I stopped watching the season of the prison because I just got tired of everybody fucking dying, like investing in a character and having them die.
It's a whole show for you, but
it's a zombie apocalypse. People die. That's kind of the gimmick.
I know. I was stupid about it. I was an overly emotional, stupid woman about it. You know. So what can I expect?
The best episode. Go back and I can't tell you which one it is, but I'm sure it's on YouTube. Go watch the Talking Dead where Marilyn Manson is on there. And just watch that episode. Oh my God. Your brain will hurt with his. I don't know if he was high or he
probably was.
Somebody hit him in the back of the head right before they stuck him on camera on the couch. But this dude is out of it. It is comical stupid. Just go check that out because it's very memorable. Like, yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I want finality, but also I'm like, I know it's gonna branch out, so I'm kind of like, you still have those characters. I mean, I don't suspect her son is gonna die, even though I know we all want him to. Rick's still out there, so I'm like, it could still maybe come to that head. But with Carl dead, I'm like, I don't know. Do you think he's gonna show up in the finale? Maybe, like if that would be the tie-in, that might be like the last thing we see is like Rick riding back in a silhouette on a fucking horse or some shit. And
they need to do something because
I don't know.
You know, Rick died, and then Michonne just leaves her 2 children with other people to just go find Rick.
They're
who
with
may or may
Uncle
not be dead.
Daryl. They're fine.
Right, but she just straight up that always bothered me. Oh, I have to go find Rick, even though my infant is over here and can't fend for itself in a zombie apocalypse. I'm going to go find my maybe dead husband. So I always hated that. But
well, I'm wondering if maybe we could still do it with Judith, like maybe growing up, maybe telling her brother, or maybe like her own kid.
Judith take the place of Carl in the comic book finale.
I'm fine
that
with
would
that.
work. I could see that.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
My problem is that you can't really have finality for The Walking Dead when you've got 27 other spinoffs going.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm worried that like it's not going to. It's just going to end on a cliffhanger. Like I said, Rick's going to come in.
Yeah, you can have finality for the characters on this show, but I mean, how are you going to close out the world itself? Now, to me, I like the idea of maybe doing something, maybe not comedic, but like something that they've been doing with Star Wars on Paramount Plus. Is they don't just have like a new Star Wars thing. It's like you've got Picard, and then you've got like Lower Decks, which is the animated comedic thing. Then you've got like the new version of the Strange New Worlds, which is kind of like they go back to the very beginning with Captain Pike and kind of tell the story with him. It's like I want to see it from kind of different perspective. Just people dealing with zombies and then the soap opera shit of the personal relationships. It's like that's not any different than any other show that you've done. So now look, I'm not saying they're not doing something right because they've got 27 spinoffs that are all doing great ratings, good enough ratings to keep them going. And Walking Dead has become very much a phenomenon as a whole. So it's like I'm not saying stop doing it. I'm saying find some way to keep it fresh because what's going to end up happening, what I fear is going to end up happening, is they're going to hit a wall. And when they hit the wall, like ratings are going to tank. They're going to be like, look, we want something new and fresh. You know, okay, so maybe Rick does or doesn't come back. Who cares? I mean, what happens when he comes back? He's going to fight zombies and he's going to fight other assholes that aren't zombies that are just trying to survive, which is what the entire show's been about anyway. There's not going to be anything fresh about it after a while. It's going to go stale. So, you know, that's what I worry about.
Going to feel like a zombie?
Yeah, it's gonna
limbering along.
It's like the show itself will become very zombie-like. It's just men through walking around like viewers, ratings. It's not gonna really have any purpose.
Well,
I mean, that's why I was kind of excited when they mentioned the Commonwealth. I'm like, oh, okay, we're getting down to the end here. I'm like, because really, that's the whole, oh, holy shit, there's zombies everywhere, and how do we deal with this? And what do we do? There's human threats now. People are dicks, like they always are. And then it becomes they've gotten to a rhythm where it's like they see a walker, they laugh at it. Like, fuck you, we can deal with that. We've gotten to where we've been able to be sustainable and we can deal with walkers for sure, and we can maybe deal with other people. That's always kind of in the threat now is like other human threats. But that's why I'm like, yeah, it kind of ends here because it, ends with, starts and ends with Rick. So I'm like, just
the show is
end cap it.
It's Rick's story. The minute he left, that was, I've said before, I love zombie apocalypse stuff. Besides like slasher gore, zombie is my favorite. And when Rick left the show, it was over for me. I mean, it was even, I would say they hit that wall. I think they honestly hit the wall once Negan showed up. No, I think once Negan shows up and you have the big head smashing scene with Glenn, once that is over, until Rick's death, they're just treading water. I think they've already hit that wall and they're just trying to get back onto the racetrack, to be honest with you.
Well, no, I've always thought that some of these shows, it's like people watch them because they think they should.
Right.
It's like there's that joke on Family Guy about like they hypnotize Peter into going around telling everybody The Wire is really good. I've seen a couple episodes of The Wire and it's an interesting show for sure, but I'm like, it's not the kind of show that I would arrange my entire week around watching. Because look, we've seen stories about life in prison before. We've seen those kinds of movies. We've seen those TV shows. They're not new and unique. But this one show, it gets off to a really hot start, and then people feel like they should watch it, so they just watch it all the time. And I think that's kind of where the ratings come from. And I feel like that's kind of how things have gone for The Walking Dead. It's like I personally never got too wrapped up in the whole zombie thing. I mean, it was kind of fun the first couple of rounds, but then I'm like, okay, it's zombies. And at least World War Z kind of gave the zombies a different dynamic by making them fast.
Oh, I hated that movie. I hated that movie.
But I thought it was okay. But I'm
the
like,
short story that it's based on is better.
Yes,
I'm like, at least you tried. At least you gave me a different variable that makes it a little more scary because it's like,
No,
you see a couple of zombies walking towards you, like crawling along, and you're like, I'm just going to turn and walk this way and avoid the problem. But when you've got a couple of them running at you at full speed, then that's a different variable. But it's like, I never really got into it. So you've got to find some way to keep this fresh and new. Because remember, you're not just trying. This show has been on long enough to where you're not just trying to hold on to the fans that you've had from the beginning. You're trying to get to these kids that maybe were like born around the time that the show came out, or were like 8, 9, 10 years old, who maybe weren't watching that kind of thing. But now they're old enough. Now they're in their 20s. Maybe they're in high school or they're in their 20s, and you're trying to attract them too. You're trying to attract the next generation of viewers. And if all you're doing is just giving them the same shit, then you're not going to attract as many people.
They try to do that with World Beyond already, though.
Well, it's like, they did have a show with like the second generation of kid. And that's what Judith is too. It's like they've moved on to like, now there's these people that we've been following. It's now their kids doing stuff, and I'm like, it's kind of interesting. You've now gone into another generation, because it's like, you think back in season 3 or even season 2 is when we find out that Lori's pregnant. You're like, oh shit, how do you even bring a kid into this world? And now we've kind of gotten to a point where like, okay, now we feel comfortable to. It's still dangerous, but now we're trying to iron that out.
Did they ever figure out what exactly causes the zombie apocalypse in the first place? Because that's part of it for me. It's like I have questions as to, because one of the things that I think you have to fundamentally answer about this entire series is how it got started and how to maybe fix it. Now maybe
how it started.
That's at least how it started.
You
never see into that.
You never see the shark in Jaws, and it's fucking terrifying. If you don't have to know how it happened.
But you know the shark is chasing them, though. You know the shark is.
The zombies are out there. Yes.
As far as Walking Dead goes, the cause, Kirkman's been asked a couple times, and he's given out aliens, space spore, which goes back to the original Night of the Living Dead, from George Romero. He's given like 3 or 4 different answers. I think he's just trolling, giving answers, just whatever he can think of up off the top of his head at this point.
Joker has 3 different answers.
Basically, yeah.
It was a troll in the first place, because if you really think, like, when he got the comic like certified and made into a series back in like 2003 or some shit, everyone's like, oh, zombies, wow, you have a zombie comic, that's fucking boring. And he's like, yeah, but like, shit, yeah, it's caused by aliens. They're like, what the fuck? And he's like, haha, got my money now, motherfuckers. It's not really that.
I don't think we need to know.
He's just a troll. Like, it's not real.
I don't think for me, I don't want to know why.
I don't either.
This happened, because if we know
more about what happens to the people's lives and how they're affected, it's not about the root of it.
It's the journey. It's not the ending for me. And obviously, I know there's a lot of seasons that are derivative. Oh, Rick's group, or Rick and his friends, they're out on the road. It's getting close to wintertime. They got to find a place to stay. This season, it's a farmhouse. The next time, it's a prison. The next time, it's the Commonwealth. The next time, it's, Terminus. It's Alexandria, whatever it may be. But if we give it and this is my problem with any real property, is once we give it a finality of this is the end game, you're either going to love it or hate it. So let's say it was a government conspiracy. They were trying out, different chemicals, and some leaked out. Some fans are going to love it. Some are going to hate it. If you leave it ambiguous, yes, you don't get a hard ending, but I don't know. To me, it's better.
We don't need to explain everything. That's why we have like 27 fucking Marvel shows and fucking of everything else. Like, you don't need to explain everything.
You don't have to explain everything, but you have to explain some things.
Well, they figure out.
And to top it off, how this series ends is going to also impact.
Oh yes,
what you need to explain as to how everything started in the first place.
The twist is that, like, it's not any typical type of zombie. It's like, if you die, no matter what, now you could die of old age and come back as a walker. That was the interesting part to me. I'm like, oh, they have to figure that out. That it's not, you don't just get bit and you get infected like the Tales all the time. That's how it works. They're like, oh no, if you get stabbed in the chest and then you left there to die, you're going to still turn. It's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. That sucks. So you'd still have to, that's a layer of now having to deal with, you just have someone die of old age. Now they're going to become a walker. You probably just whack old man Jenkins in the head and he's gone. It's done with that. Put him in the burn
Yeah,
pile.
but to your guys' point also, I do agree that some stories, if you have a happy ending, you don't serve the story very well.
Right.
Yeah.
In this kind of show, that's the big shock.
Yeah.
Is that like, oh my god, a happy ending, really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's almost like a happy ending would be kind of a downer. It's like it's not what you would expect from this, because I was a big fan of the series 24, and one of the things that they had said about that series as it was getting ready to wrap up the Jack Bauer part of it all is, can you really have a happy ending for Jack? It seems like you're just serving the character, or you're not serving him correctly when you let him have the white picket fence and the family and the kids at the end of it all. It seems like you're not serving the character very well. And it seems like he almost has to die at the end for all of this to make sense, for all of it to fit.
Right.
And I feel like maybe it's kind of a similar situation here. It's like maybe if you had this ending where, you know, somebody comes up with the cure for, you know, the zombie sickness, and you give it to everybody, and then you end it all like, you know, everybody's all happy again, and, you know, we're all putting the world back together, that it doesn't quite serve the entirety of the story. So maybe that's something to it as well.
Well, there's another point that I do love that Walking Dead has done, and this is really the only series that has been afforded this opportunity. Go back and look at season 1 walkers and look at the ones we have now. Now, of course, in our time, we're like 11 years deep into this story, but in Showtime, it's not even nearly that long. So each season, the zombies get more decrepit, more fragile, everything else. The looks of them change, and they degrade from season to season. So these things have a shelf life. Yes, if we're all in this world and I die right now, I'm going to be a fresh one, but the majority of them are older ones, you know. So I don't know.
So you're saying at some point the population would be manageable because, you know,
that's the way it was in the
people
comics.
left on Earth.
At the very end of the Walking Dead comics, like, they have like a traveling show where there's a walker, because some people haven't even seen them. They've gone so long, and they're not vast like they used to be. So, you know, I mean, it's a long form story that they can tell a lot about it. So it's pretty cool.
And to be fair, the whole thing with Negan is an important point, and that's why it was done when it was done, because in the comics, he was kind of like, I mean, holy crap, you hit 100 issues. That's exactly when he came in, was the 100th issue. That's a big milestone, but he's also like, God damn, 100 issues of a comic. You're kind of like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? I'm like, even if you have a good story, I mean, that you can, you know, take as far as you did. He's like, I gotta have something. I gotta have something big, something. And that's what Negan's character was about. He's like, oh, holy shit. That's why he's a big, showy guy. So I'm like, well, that's why that was an important point, because that's a big moment in the comics as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of TV shows that don't make it to 100 episodes. So in that, comic books and TV shows both have to make sure that if they want to get that far, they have to keep some things new and fresh. You have to have some direction that keeps people guessing and that keeps people interested. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big discussion to be had. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Jeremy and Tex should get together and break down the final episode. Who the hell knows?
I'm all down for that. I would be happy. I would be happy to do that as a special. I'm down.
I'll pull out that Daryl vest I got in there, my little Nerf crossbow. We'll fucking do it.
Yeah, go down the comments below. Let us know what you guys think about we'll call it Daryl's European vacation, kind of like.
I'll be the Merle to
Daryl.
I'll be Merle if you're Daryl.
All right, that works actually. Weirdly enough, that works. I like that.
That does work out pretty well. But Jeremy, you said you had something you wanted to unbox before we move on. Why don't we do that real quick before we move on to our next topic? What pop figure or gigantic Lego set are you adding to the collection this time?
Am I that predictable? Damn. We need to keep this show fresh. Damn, I need to get others bring out some wild shit. I actually had one last week, but I'll just meld this together with this one as well, because I did mention, as we all know, it is the first day of fall.
It's not fall yet. It's still summertime.
Shut up. Down south, motherfucker.
We're not on a Texas calendar.
I was sweating all day. I don't want to hear your fall nonsense.
I was sweating all day yesterday. It's like 97. It was some bullshit. And 97% humidity too. Anyway, now that it is more so officially spooky season, I cut my finger on my desk. That really sucks. Damn.
Oh, he's going to turn. Somebody get the baseball bat.
Somebody get me a Band-Aid. I have like 3 or 4 of them right over there, actually. So yeah, now that it's spooky season, and we actually had this movie, well, really a sequel to it coming up, but I couldn't pass this one up. It's also, whenever you get exclusives, it's kind of interesting to see where it comes from, be it, GameStop, it comes from Walgreens of all damn places, Target, Walmart has some. But you know what? The place we all love to spend all of our money on, Spirit Halloween has an exclusive.
Oh, yes. Chuckles? Oh, Reagan.
Billy Butcherson.
Oh, Billy. Reagan.
Yeah, from Hocus Pocus. I can't get it to quit glowing.
Have you seen the, at least down here at my Spirit Halloween, it's Chuckles a Clown from Trick or Treat movie. Have you seen that one? It's a little redheaded girl with a clown costume on.
I think I actually have, because I remember that name.
It's a Spirit. It came out this year. It's a Spirit Halloween exclusive.
Yeah. I'm going back to Spirit. Oh, no.
And they also have another exclusive for Hocus Pocus. It's the 3 Sanderson sisters. I think it's all around together? They're all together. It's like a bigger one.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's also a Spirit exclusive too.
That one was right next to Billy, and I was like, I can't pass up Billy. I mean,
right.
Pose, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I guess, something that we can't stay away from in this show is Marvel. And you know what? I saw this and I didn't need to question it. And as soon as I show you, I don't think anyone else would question my logic. But, what do we all want? We all want pictures of Spider-Man.
No.
You can't tell me that isn't
nice.
Cool.
Juno's dad.
Cool. I like how he's even got the furrowed brow because it seems like
That's
Pierce
cool.
is always pissed off.
He got the little newspaper in his hand.
Now, this is like regular J. Jonah Jameson, not the new version where he's bald.
Right. So this is like more.
That's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
It's more Tobey Maguire comic book J. Jonah Jameson.
Played by the same guy, but shenanigans. I don't understand how that worked.
That's
I'm not
cool.
mad. I'm not mad that he was. No, I saw that pop up, and I'm like, okay, no, we gotta have J. Jonah Jameson and pictures of Spider-Man.
That's cool.
He's a criminal. I can't really. That's my best. I can't really do that without. I had the window open because it's hotter than hell in here. I don't want to scream out my window. People wonder what the hell I'm doing.
Why not?
Right.
Just give him one, Little John. Yeah.
They've screamed Stranger Things in our neck of the woods. Whatever.
Stranger Things. True. Stranger Things have happened.
But yes, more pop figures added to Jeremy's ever-growing collection. I'm still stuck with mine because I only have so much space.
Oh, hang on. I've got one more unboxing that's technically a true unboxing because I take mine out of the package, but talk for like 2 seconds.
Oh, fuck you. I took it out of the box it came in. Damn it. It was right here. They gave me a Thursday Night Football box for some damn reason. Thank you, Amazon.
Because Thursday Night Football is airing on Amazon. It's actually
Amazon sent me a bunch of stuff with that Lord of the Rings stuff all over all the packages. Like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, y'all know I'm a Universal horror fan. Everything else. These are made by NECA. They're like a 7-inch scale. This is the Wolfman, and his face actually glows in the dark, like once it's charged up with light.
Shit. Wow.
And it's like posable, everything else, right? They have they had this one and Mummy, but yeah, I couldn't leave this dude on the shelf. I saw him sitting there and I had to bring him home with me. So classic Wolfman from Universal Studios.
Love it.
They do actually have pop figures of those as well. They have Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein.
I've seen those.
Monster,
yeah.
Dracula. They have the OGs.
There's a 3-pack that I want, but it's valued at like $500. It's Frank, Mummy, Wolfman, or it may even be a 4-pack. I'm not sure. I know it's Frankenstein, Wolfman, and Dracula, maybe Mummy, and they're all black and white versions of themselves. Yeah, and it's all in one big box. But it's worth a lot of money, and it's hard to find when you do get it. So.
They should
It's
just have an
pretty cool.
empty box and just like a pair of floating glasses for the Invisible Man.
Invisible Man.
Yeah, in a suit. That'd
Well,
be pretty great.
if anybody wants to PayPal me an early Christmas present, NECA does make because they have these same figures I just showed, and it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossed over with the Universal monsters. Raphael is Frankenstein, Michelangelo's Mummy, Donatello is Igor, and I forget, like Master Splinter is Van Helsing and stuff. April O'Neil is the Bride of Frankenstein. So if anybody wants to PayPal me a few $100, I can buy those. You'd be appreciated. So, just hit me up. I'll let you know. But
somewhere I have Vincent Price over there, and I can't find him.
Oh, love me some Vincent Price.
He's over here somewhere. I think he might be down there.
Vincent Price is a legend.
He is the man.
Love
I'll
it.
find it.
Hell yeah. But yeah, more unboxing. So go down in the comments below and tell Jeremy what the next 5 billion piece Lego set is that him and Ray should attack.
Hey, it's still sitting. I'm gonna pull my cord. It's right here. The Falcon's right here. Right
There she is.
Oh yeah, I need to prop it up or something.
She'll do the Kelso run in 12 parsecs.
Less than, actually. Yes.
Lady Cora, what is the next topic we're going into tonight?
Well, I'm excited about this. I didn't know about it till I read this and the stuff that you sent us. But first of all, I'm a huge fan of this movie. I've probably seen it 20 times. So this is a big deal for me. So, I love the line that you have in the lead-in. The only soul Satan himself will come up to collect himself is Constantine.
Yes.
And it's getting a follow-up movie with Keanu Reeves. Like, holy shit. So, Variety can confirm that Warner Brothers will make a sequel to the 2005 supernatural action film Constantine starring Keanu Reeves. The blockbuster star will reunite with original director Francis Lawrence, known best for taking over the Hunger Games franchise after the first film. Constantine has been a hot property in Hollywood, sparking an NBC series created by Daniel Cerrone and David Goyer, and was even more recently being developed into a new series for HBOMax by J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Productions. However, sources tell Variety that the HBOMax series is now dead, although the streamer has been in early talks with an actor for the lead role before the new movie came out together. 4 scripts were written for the new adaptation set in contemporary London. Tex, are you as excited as I am to see Reeves return to Constantine? I fucking am.
I love this movie. Like a quick funny story about this the Keanu Reeves Constantine film. Whenever I was in high school, we took a trip to Mexico and we found this little store that sold DVDs, and it was movies that weren't even released in America yet. And I found Constantine in English sitting on the shelf for like $2. So I bought it and I've loved it ever since. I still have it somewhere, but no, this movie was amazing. Like, obviously it's not comic accurate. He's not British. He's not blonde, but I can forgive that part for Keanu Reeves. So no, the portrayal of the devil in this film is still my favorite to date portrayal of Satan. Yes. Like, this dude rocks, and I can't even remember his name, and I feel bad that I can't. Maybe y'all know it or whatever, but this is an incredible film that for years it has not gotten the respect that it should have, and I can't wait for this. If this is what Zaslav has in mind for epic kind of DC movies, the dude's got my support completely because I'm down for it.
Well, I also loved all the characters in the movie. They had a great cast. Rachel Weisz is one of my favorite actors, and I know she's dead and all, but the Midnight character, and the B-Man and Gabriel were all characters that could maybe come back. I mean, Papa Midnight, and Gavin Rossdale, we all know him for his music talent. He did a pretty good bad guy as Balthazar in that movie. So I just, it was a great movie, and I'm really excited to see what could come with the sequel.
Peter Stormare played the devil, by the way.
Okay, yeah, no, that dude, like, just seeing him in that white suit with like this black over him, and he's like, shoeless. I don't know. That's still one of the creepiest images of devil to me. He had the tattoos coming up on the neck and everything. It looked really cool.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of Gabriel Byrne as the devil.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Gabriel Byrne is just good at everything, but he's played the devil in a couple movies, and I'm like, good God, he's got the look, he's got that very subtle kind of evil way about him that's not overblown, but it's like you look at him, he's not, he's evil, even if he's just sitting there with a smile on his face. But so I've always been a big fan of Gabriel Byrne playing the devil. Yeah, I don't know. I personally, I'm all about this shit. I mean, look, I love Keanu Reeves. I mean, he's just good at everything he does. Constantine was one of those things. I think they really wanted to make a franchise out of it from the beginning, but for whatever reason, the movie didn't blow up the way that some movies will. I think they expected that movie to be much bigger than it was, and when it didn't quite hit the heights they wanted, they were like, maybe we're gonna back up a bit. And then they put the TV show out, and the TV show got a lot of good press. They ended up putting Constantine in the Arrowverse for reasons that I don't fully understand, because he doesn't really fit to me. I mean, it was the same guy that was in the TV show shows up in the Arrowverse playing
Matt Smith. Matt Smith played him on the TV shows.
Yeah, I don't understand why they went that route, but whatever, they did it. It didn't really work for me anyway. But I mean, so the TV show was actually pretty well liked. It was well liked enough that when it got canceled or when it just ended its run, one of the reasons they brought that character to the Arrowverse is because a lot of people wanted to see that character come back, but they were just like, we don't know if we want to give him another series run. We don't know if we want to let him shop the show around other networks. We're just going to go ahead and let him show up in the Arrowverse a couple of times to kind of satisfy people, which to me seemed kind of like a waste. I figure if you want to put it out there, put it out there. If not, then just tell people you're not doing it. I don't understand why they can't just be honest with fans. But I mean, I would love to see them go after this again. I mean, look, I think projects like this, I think, are probably better for the big screen, because you can get a little, maybe not R-rated, but you can get a little closer to that line without worrying about pissing off TV censors. And when you're talking about something this dark, you're talking about a guy who tried to commit suicide, just trying to save his soul by saving others, or however the whole thing works.
Yeah,
that in and of itself is a very dark storyline that you can tell, that you can really get into. They can be a lot of really interesting stories. And I don't think you can do it on TV the way that you can do it theatrically.
You can.
So that's why I think this is going to be much better served as a film. I also think that bringing Keanu Reeves back, because he's Keanu Reeves, he's probably even more popular now than he was when the first Constantine movie came out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's one of the most humble actors. Like, he just has a personal life. He doesn't make himself some fancy celebrity.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of well, I don't want to say volunteering, but he gives a lot away.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad for the guy. I think his fiance he was going to marry died in a horrific accident. He's been through a lot in his life, and he's still, I mean, I don't know. I love the John Wick stuff, but I would totally love 2 more Constantine movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
We're getting plenty more John Wick coming down the line too, so don't worry about that.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, his star's burning brighter now than it ever really has. I mean, since he first really broke out in things like Bill and Ted and Wayne's World and stuff like that, he's a much bigger star now. Speed. He's a much bigger star now. So why not go ahead and go back to this property, and one that was not only loved by critics and fans alike when it first came out, has really held on to that popularity over time. It's kind of become one of those cult movies, but not in a way that most movies become cult movies. So why not go back to that, especially with this resurgence of horror that we've seen in the last several years, because of guys like Jordan Peele and Jason Blum, and the way that the horror genre has been kind of reinvigorated the last 5 or 6, 7 years. Why not go back to something like this that can be very deep and storyful and not just be scary? Something that people can really get into. That's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing.
Well, one thing I am very glad about, I'm glad that J.J. Abrams Justice League Dark or Constantine property that he was going to do isn't coming to fruition, because they were going to have a black female play Constantine.
Yeah, I just heard an article saying
that upset a lot of people
because they're doing this instead, because they're casting Keanu Reeves. They're going to put a bisexual person of color as the lead. Like, come on, it's just a movie. Like there are plenty of
that
other.
sounds like it's trying way too hard again. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like again, I don't care that the Little Mermaid's black. I'm like, but that seems like you're trying way too hard. Like that's just
it was
to do it.
Well, when they lead with our lead character is bisexual black female, you know exactly what they're doing. They're going for woke points, not this woman can really act and we want to do a different version. We're going for, like I said, they're going for woke points with stuff like that. And J.J. Abrams, I don't know how he's got his hands on so many franchises. The dude sucks. I cannot stand.
I don't know. I like the Transformer movies myself.
He didn't do those. He didn't.
That was Michael Bay, not J.J.
J.J.
Abrams did Star Trek and Star Wars.
I actually like his Star Trek. The first movie I thought was really good.
Didn't he do that Battleship movie too?
No, that was Michael Bay.
Yeah, that was Michael Bay.
Oh, I like Michael Bay movies, I guess. Thank you.
I like Michael Bay films. I like the Transformer movies.
Look, I like look. He's done stuff like Super 8, which I thought was great. He did Cloverfield, which I think is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
The first one. Good. Don't waste your time with any of the sequels. Just stick with the first one.
No, 10 Cloverfield Lane is quite good.
Well,
it is.
But like when you think of the context of Cloverfield itself, you're like, what?
Yeah, right. I don't know how he says it fits in with the other movies.
It doesn't think it has nothing to do with Cloverfield, but it is a good movie itself.
But that movie in and of itself is actually quite fantastic. I mean, John Goodman is John Goodman in that movie. He's awesome. But he look, I actually liked. I mean, dude, Force Awakens. I love Force Awakens. I actually like Force Awakens. I'm unapologetic about that. I think that was a great way to restart the franchise. After that, it kind of went to hell. But I mean, I think that was a great way to restart the franchise. But the problem is that, look, every director is gonna shit out a couple of turds. You know what I mean? I mean, J.J. Abrams is gonna shit out a couple of bad ones. Scorsese's made a couple of movies that didn't quite hit. Spielberg's made a couple of movies that a lot of people thought were kind of middle of the road, especially for a guy like him. So I'm not worried about that. I mean, the problem is people want to do things that don't need to be done with a character or a story. They want to deviate too far from it because they think it's going to score them extra viewers. And I'm like, just tell the story.
Right.
But so I don't necessarily worry about J.J. Abrams. And remember, also a lot of times, they work out. Sometimes it's the production company that wants these things, and not necessarily the director or the showrunner.
True.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm worried about Disney.
So like,
because,
hey, look at us, we did this thing.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Kevin Feige, and we've talked about it. Kevin Feige was one of those guys that wants the creators to create. And he was allowed to do that. Other guys like Alan Horn and Bob Iger, but Bob Chapek is now trying to take some of that creative control away and give it to these pencil neck motherfuckers from Ivy League schools who have never actually made a movie in their lives. They're all just paperwork guys. That's one of the things that concerns me about that whole situation, and why I think Kevin Feige will eventually leave the MCU and leave Disney and move on to other things. But so that's my problem. Is I want a good story. I pay close attention to the original film. Build off of, different story pieces for that to move forward, and that's what I want. Because now I don't know what was J.J. Abrams supposed to be a sequel, or was it supposed to be a complete reboot? I don't really know. I mean, it never really came
of which property
of Constantine.
No, his was did y'all ever subscribe to DC Universe, the streaming service?
No.
Okay, well, basically DC Universe came out. HBOMax hadn't even came out yet. It was at HBO Now. It was the previous streaming service that they had. Well, Warner Brothers created DC Universe, which it was only DC content from comic books to TV shows and films. And this was right around the time of the Snyderverse, basically. And they did a Swamp Thing TV show, like a light R horror version of Swamp Thing, which was one of my favorite characters of all time. And it was canceled before the first episode came out because they didn't get the tax credits from where they were shooting at. So it was shut down before they ever premiered. But it was a really good show, and it was supposed to lead into this Justice League Dark, which didn't have anybody helmed at the time. And it was going to have a new version of Constantine, Madam X, Zatanna was supposed to be in it. The whole Justice League Dark, even Blue Demon was supposed to be in it. And it ended up falling through just like every other plan that Warner Brothers has had for the DC Universe, besides Batman and Superman for the last 10 years. And it never went anywhere, but it was going to be a complete new story, not Keanu Reeves. people wanted Matt Smith to play him, but I think they were going new. And then it came out, oh, we're going to have, and, fast forward till now, when, black lesbian, Constantine is here now or whatever. So I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't going to be Keanu Reeves though.
Yeah, I don't like it when they just want to erase it all and start all over
Right.
and whatever. I don't know.
Right.
I think that they don't respect the fact that some of these stories grow to what they are because they're good stories that are told well with great characters. And
Right.
they just like, okay, yeah, that works, but whatever. We're going to do our own thing now because this is what's popular at the moment. Well, what's popular is not usually what's good.
Well, there's a couple films that I love that I think were ahead of their time. And that's Constantine and the first Ghost Rider, because those came out before the real big superhero boom. Yes, there had been, X-Men and Spider-Man had happened, but we hadn't hit that MCU level, Snyderverse stuff yet, whatever. I think if that Constantine film had came out today, it would be much higher revealed than it was because of the time that it came out in. People weren't just conditioned for it or ready for it. So I don't know. I'm excited for this new one. I think it's going to be cool.
I think it was just an unfortunate timing of when it came out, because
Yeah.
I saw it like a few years later. I mean, I was in like high school, and I thought I was really getting into like the Matrix and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's kind of when I discovered Keanu Reeves. I saw Speed like on TV, and I was like, this is fucking wild, and this dude's pretty awesome.
Right.
And I saw that, and I was like, this is fucking wild. I'm like, I don't know why it didn't, over the years, it's just like no one really kind of talks about it. It's just kind of there. And I'm like, this is a cool ass movie. And again, I'm someone who plays Satan in a haunted house. And I'm like, I am so goddamn jealous. I can't, I would love to fucking be like that in my role. I would kill to be like that. I'm like, I could never.
I could be a good devil in a haunted house. I could play that role.
Well,
I'm very intimidating when I want to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We just had a discussion. Actually, we're like, well, we're not like how we were 5 years ago. I'm like, but if you want us to go that direction, we will go there. And just know you asked for this. So,
Cora, were you clearing your throat there for a minute? You got something to say?
No.
Huh?
In heated discussions, you can be intimidating. Okay.
So I'm saying I could.
Different show, different day of the week.
I sometimes that devilish side comes out to play, and he has to have his fun too. It's okay, You have to share it.
I didn't get a chance to put a meme together, but I want to put a meme together that said "bad touch."
Not everybody can be as nice as Jeremy and Frank. Some people are just born with the asshole stick up their ass. Anyways.
Well,
I just worry that I don't want it to be like, when I went to see the new Matrix movie, and I'm like, okay, but you're
I'm
John
sure
Wick.
it'll. Yeah.
I'm
like, you're John Wick
better.
in the Matrix right now. I'm like, I understand, like, you can't, maybe he couldn't cut his hair or shave his beard down for whatever reasons or something he was working on. And I'm like, yeah, all right, fine. But why do you literally just look like John Wick now all the time? Now I'm not saying that dark brood, he had his hair all matted and all that could work for this. But I don't want him to just be.
He needs the beard. I saw him shaved in the new Bill and Ted. I'm like, oh God, grow that back.
I think he looks better clean shaven.
No.
Hey, he gives someone like me who's got the patchy bullshit some.
His beard is very patchy in and of itself, but he's one. He needs the beard. He needs. I don't care if he looks like John Wick.
Men underestimate. Well, I can't speak for all women, but a lot of women like clean-shaven faces. So it's sometimes nice to see that not all men have facial hair.
You're literally everyone else in this panel has facial hair. So.
Right.
I am aware of that.
This is a biased mistrial right here.
Right.
Technically speaking, your dogs have facial hair, and you love them.
That is true.
Oh.
That is true. That's a shots fired moment. But yeah.
But go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. Constantine is coming back. I'm
here
optimistic. I'm optimistic about this. I mean, this has got a lot of good things going for it. So hopefully they stay true to the original film. Hopefully it's going to be a sequel that's worthy of the name. Like I said, right now I'm confident, but I was also kind of confident in the Matrix rebooted or whatever the hell that was, and I was
Resurrection.
Regurgitated, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah,
it was
regurgitated.
I was kind of disappointed too.
The Matrix.
I love The Matrix. That used to be my top #1 favorite movie. It got taken over by Ready Player One, but like still, that used to be up there, and I was kind of disappointed. That may be my own fault. I set the bar too high, if you know that meme. But still, maybe I don't know.
But yeah, go down the comments below. Let us know what you guys think about Keanu Reeves returning for a Constantine 2. And Lady Cora, what's the next topic we'll be going into tonight?
Well, something I absolutely know nothing about, but I'm curious to learn about. A series version of the David Cronenberg's film Scanners is in development at HBO. Variety has confirmed this. Per the official description, the series is, quote, set in the mind-bending world of David Cronenberg's seminal film, pursued with relentless agents with unimaginable powers. Two women living on the fringes of modern society must learn to work together to topple a vast conspiracy determined to bring them to heel, end quote. Scanners was originally released in 1981. Whoop, whoop, that's a great year. The film followed a man who discovered he is one of 237, quote, scanners, people with incredible psychic powers, after he is recruited by a private military contractor to stop an evil scanner named Revok. It went on to achieve cult status, particularly for the infamous sequence in which a scanner's head exploded.
Love it.
Yeah.
4 sequel films have since been released. Though Cronenberg was involved with none of them. I don't know how, I've never heard of this, but Jeremy, are you excited for the Scanner show?
I know. Now that I've shot myself in the foot several times saying, fuck these 40-year sequels and shows, there are gems of things that are fantastic that I'm like, you know what? I want to see more of that. Yes. I mean, like, to be fair, the new Ghostbusters movie, I'm like, you know what? Didn't disappoint. I like it. And I'm excited there's more.
It was quality.
It was good. So let me re-preface my qualms with this every time. Is there is a little asterisk. You can't see it. It's there, though.
Just speak out of the other side of your mouth. It's okay. Everybody does it. It's okay.
All right. I'm talking out of my ass now, I guess, in that respect.
You could just say it once. The 80s were pretty awesome.
I didn't fucking You're done.
Frank's just sitting back licking his jaw. Oh, see, somebody else did it to you, Cora. See, you're the problem here. See?
Bad touch, Cora. Bad touch.
I didn't say that. Jesus, I was like, yes, I would jump out of my seat. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you've seen that dude's head explode, and holy shit.
Oh yeah.
It's like, have you seen the face melt in Reedus of the Last Ark? Yeah, you have. You've seen.
That's one of the iconic scenes of the last at least the last 30 or 40 years of filmmaking.
Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And even from what she read, like, even if you haven't seen the movie, I'm like, tell me that doesn't sound like a fucking wild premise. That sounds awesome.
Right.
Like, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I'm telling you, it's a fucking ride.
I do have one request for this though. Can we cast Alex Jones in this somehow? Because I feel like that is a perfect opportunity.
He won't be able to work.
He doesn't have to be in. He doesn't have to be in the whole thing. Just one scene where he's like standing on the street corner. The end is nigh. There's scanners everywhere. Blah, 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 blah. And then like a black van comes up and scoops him up, and then he's done. That's all he has to do. But I think it'd be great.
Oh, boy.
Cora, if you see this movie, you would know he would fit into this movie perfectly.
100%.
Yeah, this is that vibe. Yeah.
Only if I get to watch him die in character.
Hey, maybe
his head will explode.
Or have a scene of him voting for a Democrat.
Oh no! Forget on the corner. They can recreate the head exploding scene, but this time it's Alex Jones. So Cora gets to watch him die,
That's what I mean.
And we get to see Alex Jones going on. It's perfect. See, Hollywood, why are you not hiring us? We have all of the ideas.
We're right here.
Just hit us up. It's not hard. We're giving them out.
You said let the creators create, damn it.
Right. You know, I don't know who's making this, but Zaslav, if this is a Warner Brothers property, we're your people. Come on now.
I'll try. I'm grabbing a little frame by frame of the head exploding really quick.
Can we show that on YouTube? I don't know.
It's not the actual GIF or a clip. There's this one video. I actually almost grabbed this already. I should have just went ahead and fucking done it when I was thinking about it. But it's just it's 5 frames of the head exploding.
That's all you need to know, man.
Well, see, that's the thing. Scanners was one of those schlocky 80s movies that Cronenberg made for, $100 and a ham sandwich back in the day. And it was a gem amongst a pile of, this is a cash grab at best. And it's
one of those commentary type movies where it's like
the term cult status gets attached to a lot of films. This one deserves its cult status.
I will say that.
And this is one of those movies that even if there's no projects coming out about it, you can go to any horror festival or Comic-Con and somebody will be cosplaying something of the sort from this film.
Scanners is one of those movies that is in most people's top 20 horror movies of all time.
Yes. 100%. Yes.
And for all of the people who are real cinephiles who love this movie, it's a movie that's just not talked about very often.
Right.
It's one of those movies. It almost has been lost in time, so to speak. I mean, Christ, it's 41 years old this year, and it was so long ago. But I mean, if you look at it, it's got Michael Ironside, who I fucking love, who was a stud throughout the 80s and early part of the 90s. I don't know what happened to that guy. I mean, he's still in stuff, but he's not nearly the star that I was hoping he'd become.
Yeah.
And it's just visually, when it comes to kind of just the blood and guts part of horror, this movie didn't disappoint on that at all. And to top it off, it was really kind of an interesting, engrossing story about governmental conspiracies and shit like that. So Cora, sit down, squint your eyes, look very closely at the screen. Text is back and put this up there.
I'm waiting for it.
You can imagine Alex Jones going through this.
Yeah. You would have your moment, and it would be tremendous. It would
right now. This picture does absolutely no justice to the live action.
Oh no!
Yeah, no. You need to go watch this in live time. Just if you don't watch the movie, just go watch this 5 seconds of footage because it has been used for so many GIFs. Anytime something has dropped online that was huge, you will see that GIF underneath it somewhere in shape or form, and it's a tremendous. It's just amazing. There's so many good things that can be said about this.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's getting a long form treatment. It's not going to be like a 90-minute movie. It's going to be a series of, I'm guessing. I mean, if Disney Plus has kind of any ideas to how this is going to go, because I know HBOMax. This is going to be on HBOMax, as I recall. Yeah, it's going to be on HBO.
100%. Yeah.
So you're looking at 10 episodes of roughly 40-45 minutes each. I mean, there's a lot. You can really dig into this story and have some fun with it, and not just have the whole head exploding stuff and the visuals,
right?
But you can have a lot of really great dialogue and a lot of really great character work in this as well.
It needs to be set in the 80s timeline, though. I don't want a modern telling within that world.
I don't want to see people on iPhones.
Well, the irony,
movie, so
the fucking irony is that it still makes sense.
Oh yeah, it makes sense, but I'm saying I want the aesthetic of that 80s feel, because that's part of the charm when you watch this movie. It's a time period that it feels different than whatever. I just if I'm making this, it's set within around the same time as the first movie, but that's just me.
You guys won't take that 80s dick out of your mouth, will you? Jesus.
Hey, didn't you suck on that 80s dick about 5 minutes ago, Jeremy? I just
I took it out though and swallowed. You guys are still working.
Let's be real here.
I think you went to sleep with it in your mouth like a little pacifier. Every morning you wake up like.
It's hard not to suck that dick because the dick is so big.
I'm keeping my mouth shut on this one.
Drew, if you're watching, I know you are. Clip that. What Frank was
clip that one.
That's why I'm not saying anything, because I know Drew's listening and clipping. I learned on Sunday.
That was clickbait right there. I was clickbait for sure.
Frank knew what he was doing with that one.
I knew what I was doing with that one, absolutely. But one of the things that we can hold up about this is being very promising is William Bridges is one of the writers. He's written for Black Mirror, which I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot of people rave about, and Stranger Things. He's serving as the writer and executive producer and showrunner. And Jan Demich, who directed a lot of stuff for Lovecraft Country. It was really integral in that show.
Love me some H.P. Lovecraft.
I have not seen it, but I mean, I've heard Night Watch was just doing video after video about this, and it got a lot of love. Critically, it was really, really popular. So, I mean, it's got the creative staff behind it. And also, you've got Cronenberg, who wrote and directed the original film, who's going to be serving as executive producer.
Right.
So the creative team is there. They actually first announced they were working on a series version of Scanners back in 2017. I'm surprised that this didn't. I'm surprised that I just now stumbled across this. I figured this is.
I have never heard that before. I feel like I would have. I feel like I would have came across that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it says, should the Skinner series go forward, it would be the second series adaptation of one of Cronenberg's films in recent years. Amazon is currently preparing a series version of his film Dead Ringers with Rachel Weisz in the dual roles as a pair of twin sisters. So that could be interesting too. But yeah, and then of course originally released in 1981, whatever, Psychic Powers. Let's see. There had been talks of a series version produced by Dimension Films in 2011 as well as a new film reboot, but none of those projects ultimately came to pass. You know what though? I mean, I'm looking at the creative team and I'm like,
I was gonna say these ducks are all in a row.
Gonna say they're stacked and ready.
But yeah, I mean, but like I said, this is one of the most iconic horror properties that came out of probably the golden age of horror. That's got one of the original creative minds behind it. It's got some modern day creative minds that are very well regarded. Bring it. Let's go. I'm ready. I want to see this in production right now.
Take my money now.
Like I said, after we watch this, I want my head to explode in the same fashion. I want to be blown away, man.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking that with Halloween coming up, I want to try to, and since my evenings are a little bit more freed up to where I can do a little bit more stuff, I was thinking I want to try to get to doing some retro reviews of some other horror movies that we didn't quite get to last year, Jeremy. I know we only did like 3 of the 4 or 5 that I really wanted to do, but I mean, I never got around to doing The Exorcist, which is one I want to do.
Yeah.
So maybe a movie like this. I think it would be about time to do this with this news coming up. So maybe that.
I would watch it to do the review show.
Hey, you should watch it because it's an awesome movie.
Only if Jeremy refrained from shitting upon the 80s and he praises them.
I'm not gonna. Oh my
God.
He already praised the movie. In all fairness,
I know, but I like to punish him. He needs to suffer a little bit more. So that's all I'm saying.
I know what's good. I'm just saying, quit shitting on a different decade. Like it didn't have its own merits.
You know, this segues into the next one, Frank. People who think they're God.
Yeah.
No, I play Satan. That's
Delusions of grandeur.
Delusions. Yeah.
That's a fallen angel. That's different.
Something that's for sure. But
yes, I was gonna say that. Let Rachel be part of the Exorcist review. That is her favorite horror movie. Period. So.
That's not a bad. It's not a bad choice. Not a bad choice at all. Rachel always welcome to the channel whenever she
love that
obviously. But so go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. Have you guys even seen Scanners? The movie is 41 years old. It's a bit of an old one, so I wouldn't be surprised if the 20-year-olds maybe hadn't seen it, but it is an all-time classic of the horror genre. Yeah, everybody who's seen it on this panel right now, me, Jeremy,
thumbs up.
Tex, all says that it's a great one. It's one of the all-time tops. So go check it out. Let us know what you guys think about the prospect of HBO doing a series with David Cronenberg and in my opinion, a really excellent creative staff doing a series for Scanners. I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, you guys ever see like Wayne's World? It's like right there. It's like, you guys remember that part in Scanners where the dude's head explodes?
Well, I do have a compromise. It can be set in the 80s, but to appease Jeremy, it's set in like December of 1989, and by the end of the show, it's in the 90s. So if we're going to bridge the gap here and no bitching on either side, just saying. If
I wanted to do that, I'd go watch Rent, because that's exactly what it does. It takes place over a year from 89 to 90.
Fuck
Christmas. That's the middle ground. Trust me, there's a movie for that.
Well, I don't watch musicals because I'm a grown man, but it's all good. So you watch your musical. It's okay.
Musical. Fuck you.
Before we move on, here's what you got. Here's what you guys can expect one more time if you watch Scanners, and you will not be disappointed in how this looks in real time.
I love it.
But Lady Cora,
and that was practical, by the way. No CGI. Yes. That was practical effects.
I hope they keep practical effects for this.
Yes, go practical.
Absolutely.
Don't do
there's
like
a
they
really
did.
great there's a really great aesthetic to this movie about all the practical effects. It
Yes.
makes it look so much better. But
Right.
yeah, you guys go watch it. Let us know what you guys think about an HBO series about scanners. Hey, Lady Cora, what's the final topic we're going to go into tonight?
Well, speaking of people in their 20s who think that they know more than everyone else, Ezra Miller is the subject of a new Vanity Fair expose, which looks at the 29-year-old actor's dark spiral over the past few years. More than a dozen people were interviewed for the lengthy report, some of whom claim Miller suffers from messiah delusions. Miller's erratic behavior first spilled into the public while they were in Iceland in 2020. The Flash star, whose pronouns are they and them,
Fuck
choked
off.
two strangers with one incident going viral after it was caught on film. An insider who was with Miller around this time told Vanity Fair they talked about the metaverse and the medicine and how they're the messiah and what their work is here. They say their spiritual practice is to be among the people, which means party. So when in Iceland, they were out nonstop. Their favorites were raves where they'd go on benders for 2 or 3 days at a time. Frank, does this affect your hope that Miller can find their way through their mental issues?
Well, something you got to remember about this is, as of right now, Ezra Miller's trying to get help, and I want to, and because I am a hopeful person, hope springs eternal, as Robert Meyer Burnett always says, is I'm hoping that he's working through this shit. I really am, because I've really liked him as the Flash. He was in some movies when he was young that were the performances were great. I mean, look, he got that role in DC as the Flash because he was big, up and coming, and he can act. But we all go a little crazy sometimes, as Anthony
Psycho.
Perkins once said. Yeah, as Anthony Perkins once said.
Actually, we all don't, but
Well,
you're being nice.
Well, yeah. Well,
Not all of us are
maybe
child
not to-
groomers like
maybe-
Ezra Miller. You know?
Maybe not to this level. But I mean, it does put into perspective something that I had said a while back. Was I was very concerned with the kind of resources and the kind of support structure of sycophants that people like this can have, that this would spiral into something way worse than just whatever that choke slamming thing was. If you guys have seen that video, it just looked very odd. The whole breaking into his friends, the room of his roommates or whatever, and taking their shit, and throwing a chair at somebody at a bar, and just basically acting like a general ass everywhere you go. So I hope that right now he's still getting well, but this does put into very stark contrast exactly how far off the deep end he may have gotten before he finally decided, or was ordered to, however it worked out, that he needed to get some help and start to tone his behavior down, because this is what I was worried about. I mean, because he's talking in this article about, let me pull this article back up. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. They say there's some kind of messiah going to lead an indigenous revolution that Jumping Eagle, which is the mother of Dakota Iron Eyes, had told Vanity Fair. Miller is not Native American, but has frequently spoken out against people appropriating culture. Professes they walk this world because they don't, that they walk through this world with an indigenous humility and spiritual awareness. One indigenous insider alleged, but point of fact, they don't at all, because they don't care. He's not even really, essentially he himself is appropriating their ethnicity, which is something he says is bad. But some of his behavior, some of these quotes, a lot of times Miller makes the women put their cell phones on the altar when they come in and other offerings. A longtime friend claims to the magazine, Ezra freaked out recently, demanding that Susan Sarandon come pay tribute to their altar because she didn't invite Ezra to a dinner party. So now that tells me that maybe he was actually almost to the Manson point, where he's like, I'm going to go to Susan Sarandon's house and slap her around because I feel insulted. And we already know that he felt insulted by this one family, so roll back up there with a gun, because he thought that they were appropriating black culture or something like that, or whatever we talked about last time. It's a scary set of circumstances. Also, Miller's former fiance Erin participated in the story and said that Miller wasn't violent or physically abusive towards anyone when they were together. The couple dated back in 2016, probably before he really lost his shit. That was 6 years ago. Let's see. What is it? Some of this other stuff. I mean, I'm waiting for this article to come out in full because
I'm waiting for him to be in court, having to be explaining what he did.
Yeah, well, I mean, the court might not actually happen unless he, I don't want to say relapses, because I don't know if this is necessarily an addiction thing, but unless he starts with the bad behavior again, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I mean, some of these things we're hearing, I mean, they're not good, and this is just part of whatever this expose is coming from Variety. So I'm eager to see what the rest of this stuff says in this article, because it's, like I said, it's painting a very scary picture as to where Ezra Miller was at the time. Maybe not now. Again, I want to say maybe not now, because Ezra Miller is seeking help. So I want that help to work.
Or they're making him get help so they can save face and release the movie. I mean,
they're releasing the movie anyway. But now, look, they were always going to release the movie. There's no way around it. I mean, for a couple reasons. Number one, they've said the movie is actually very good. For two, this movie is actually supposed to set the stage for the rest of the DCU moving forward. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of resetting that happens in this movie, which is one of the reasons why they really wanted to come out, to give them that clean slate to start with moving forward. Now that Zaslav and his crew are in there, so from a creative point of view, I think the movie might be very important. But yeah, so while this is not exactly new, this is new information released to the public. It's not necessarily new to the situation itself. Kind of like when we talked a couple weeks ago about him officially being charged for something that happened like 6 months ago. So let's not all throw our hands up and wash our hands of Ezra Miller right now. They are working on it. I hope that work proves fruitful, and that when we read other things that are going to come out in this article, that we're not too blown away. But yeah, I mean, this is what I had talked about. I was worried about him getting a gun and doing like a Waco thing. And it sounds like he was well on his way to full David Koresh. Cora, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that the silver lining about this is it shows that no matter you're a celebrity, you're in movies, or you're somebody well-known, you can still have mental health issues, and seeking help can benefit your life. So I think in a way that kind of helps destigmatize depression and anxiety and other issues, to help everyday persons like ourselves, maybe seek help with less, hardship on yourself for doing so. So I'll say that. However, I think this guy just needs to just focus on his upcoming court cases, getting help. And it's great they want to do an expose, I guess. I think it's all for clickbait for their, it's like the guy, what else are they going to say? There's nothing new here to say. But I don't know. I think the guy just needs to get help. And I think we all need to just move on from it and not encourage it to continue.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Tex, what do you think? Ezra Miller's been all over the news for all the wrong reasons the last couple of years. I mean, it's scary to think of where he was. I mean, do you think that he has a chance of getting the help that he needs?
I think he's a child grooming piece of crap that needs to be beaten with 2x4s with nails and screws in it. But that's just me. But I honestly, I've written this guy off. He's obviously a nutbag, whether it's a messiah complex or whatever mental illness we give they, them, or whichever freaking pronouns we're going by with this jackass. He's a nutbag, and he needs to be thrown on the funny farm and forgotten about. I don't need to see him in the Flash. I won't be paying for Flash. I'm not going to do that. I'm not supporting this dude. So much of this could be true, could be rumor. Either way, you don't encourage bad behavior, and I'm not giving this guy $1 to go see any of his films. But that's just me personally. So.
Hey, I'm right there with you, and I'm not going to see anything with Amber Heard in it either.
Not even when she does porno will I watch. I promise you that right now.
I'm not interested. I wouldn't watch, I won't watch it either, but I wouldn't have watched it anyway.
Fingers crossed. I will not watch the Amber Heard porno when oh wait, you're not supposed to see that. Never mind. And I shouldn't have said you that, but no, thank you. I'm not an Ezra Miller guy. I've never been crazy about his Flash. There was honestly, I mean, Grant Gustin in the Arrowverse, he's one of the few good things about the Arrowverse. I love his portrayal as Flash. And obviously you can't just plug him in and forget about, I used to be over here. I guess you technically could with Flashpoint. Okay. But it's time to recast, get somebody new in there that's not like I said, a child grooming piece of crap and try to wash some of the mud off of this and salvage it. But Ezra Miller just needs to go away and get off my TV.
Oh, he will. He's going to go to some type of mental health hospital, not by choice, after some of these court cases come to fruition.
Right.
So, it's coming.
Jeremy, what do you think? Is there any hope for this guy?
He's still young. Like, you could, but I mean, it's a long goddamn road, and you have to be in that lane and on that damn road, you know. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, if you start taking the right steps and quit fucking around with people you shouldn't be, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't like we've said, this could have been a lot worse, and thankfully it wasn't. I mean, all things considered, I suppose. You know, we're not. You know, he doesn't have like a whole family of people and writing Helter Skelter on the fucking wall and shit like that. So it could have, you know what I mean? It could have been bad. So
okay, if he thinks he's God, why does he need pronouns? Can anybody explain that one to me?
Well, okay, there's a difference between those two things. Pronouns.
I know. I'm not asking that. That was a joke more than an actual question, just so we're clear, just for the record.
But I want to say something real quick. The movie, Don't Worry, Darling, is out tomorrow, and I'm gonna go see it. And I would, I hope everybody has I'm gonna sound like Frank here, like go see something cool or watch something cool this weekend, because I'm really excited about it.
There's something cool coming out Tuesday. I'll be talking about it for my closing at the end of the show, so stay tuned.
Yeah, and for all those motherfuckers that say that there's no original shit coming out anymore, that it's all sequels, remakes, and MCU.
Not true.
Don't worry, darling. An original fucking film
not based on a book, because I've already read it.
By an up and coming director who has had some successes here and there. I mean, try to ignore all the noise around the movie, but I might go see it tomorrow as well. I think me and Jennifer may go check it out.
If you do, we should talk about it sometime this weekend.
I think we might, but yeah, I'm gonna go watch it too. Yes, but as far as Ezra Miller is concerned, I mean, look, I said this a couple of weeks ago. The last time we talked about him is, I really do think the best thing for Ezra Miller is to walk away from the career. I mean, you're going to have some residuals coming in from the stuff that you've already done. You need to take some time off, make sure you are right in your head, and then maybe you can come back. Look, Ezra Miller's only didn't we establish this a couple weeks ago? Ezra Miller's only 25 or 28, right?
He's 29.
Young, yeah.
I think he's like my age. I think he's like 28 or 29. Yeah, he's my age.
So still plenty young. Take some time off.
But he can't. No, Frank. He's literally been. Like Tech said, he's literally been grooming children and associating with minors in a romantic way.
I am not absolving him of anything that he's done to this point.
I'm just saying he's done in Hollywood.
You're still a piece of shit. But
if he doesn't go to a mental hospital or get put in prison, nobody's gonna hire him anymore. He's done.
Look, we've said that about a lot of people. I mean, Roman Polanski's still directing movies, and they all still love him and give him.
Well, he's also not welcome in the United States.
He's not welcome in the United States, but plenty of people in the industry will get on their hands and knees and pray.
I'm just saying, Ezra Miller is not of that caliber.
He's not, but the Hollywood people, the Hollywood bubble, will overlook that a lot quicker than most of the public.
Do you think people wouldn't boycott something like this, considering it's like a crime against children?
Again, I'm not talking about the casual fans like us. Okay. I'm talking about the Hollywood bubble. These are the people that not only knew about but allowed and even promoted Harvey Weinstein to do the shit that he was doing for years.
Yeah.
So yes, somebody will give him a chance. Look, I still hold very firmly on the fact that, however things turned out between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, both of them are going to get chances again. I mean, now say what you want about it. Say what you want about it. You can not like it all you want. And you're probably right. But
any woman who, and this is a woman saying this, any woman who not only accuses but goes to court and testifies under oath that a man raped her that didn't, I'm sorry, you got to burn in hell for that shit. You don't get any second chance after accusing somebody of sexual assault. Like, fuck you. Come on.
In Hollywood, they give plenty of second chances to people that don't deserve it. But
I do-
also what I'm saying is I want, if he takes this rehab seriously, if he takes the therapy seriously, and if he sits down with Oprah and does some crying tell-all interview about, yes, I know what I did now. I was drinking a lot. I was doing a lot of drugs. I'm clean now. I've realized the error of my ways. Then maybe there's room there. Now, is he ever going to be flash again? Oh no, Warner Brothers is done with him. They just haven't announced it yet. I've been saying that for over a year. That as soon as Zaslav took over, they had a meeting about him and Amber Heard, and they were like, okay, all in favor of cutting ties with these motherfuckers? Everybody raised their hand. He looked around the room, okay, we're out. And that's it. That was the entire decision-making process. But I mean, I do want to leave the door open because I am hopeful, I tried to be anyway, that he will see the error of his ways and make himself a better person. Does he need to pay for what he's done so far? Oh, yeah. He absolutely needs to pay for what he's done so far. And I'm sure he probably will in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not in the ways that we hope that he pays. He will pay a price somehow. And after he's paid that price, I mean, me and Tex are both football fans. I mean, Michael Vick paid his price. He got his second chance.
Right, but Michael Vick
wasn't.
Michael Vick wasn't.
Children.
Yeah, he wasn't child grooming. Yes, fighting dogs is bad, and I love dogs. I love animals.
Dogs are property. They are not beings with constitutional rights.
Once the things that he's been attached to, and the people that he's attached to, and the things that he's done, there are certain things that are unforgivable. You just need to go away. Get your residuals. Do whatever you need to do. But I will never, ever, ever, as long as I live, pay to go see anything where there is a child sex predator involved in it. That's just get your forgiveness, go on Oprah, cry, do what you need to do. That's fine. But you ain't getting my $20. You go get it from somebody else.
I mean, if you put a dog ring fighter and a child diddler in prison, which one do you think they're going to fucking beat half to death?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
There's a line you don't cross. I mean, it's
I do believe in second chances. I've been given, I do believe in forgiveness, and I forgive those who've offended me. That's part of my beliefs. But just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm going to be your best friend and we're going to shake hands and go have a hamburger together. You know what I mean? So, and it's to each their own. I mean, it's just, you do what you feel is right at the end of the day.
Yeah, I hope that he cleans himself up and he makes a better life for himself, because I want that for everybody. Now, like I said, I'm not absolving him of any of his sins. I'm not saying that he gets himself clean and figures it out and we say, okay, it's under the bridge, never mind. No, he needs to pay. And I think everybody who does that needs to pay. And Jeremy said it in the chat. First off, I want to say thank you to Reedus who just sent in a $10.32 tip. He said, here you go. Cool. Thank you, Reedus. We love you, buddy. Long-time supporter of a lot of different channels in this community. But he says Robert Downey Jr. made his comeback. Tim Allen was busted for cocaine and played Santa Claus.
Right.
I could bring up a guy. I already brought up Michael Vick. I mean, there's
that's not child grooming.
No. I'm not comparing the individual things. I'm just saying that there is room. There is because all those things are egregious at one level or another. But I don't understand why we're so eager to leave an avenue for a comeback for one person and not for others. Now, look, if he sees I understand that, but is the standard that we want to give people a chance to right themselves and to do right by everybody that they've
not
hurt?
After a certain set of crimes are committed, in my opinion.
But again, where do we draw the line?
Crimes against children are kind of high up there.
But again, we either want, well, for one, I mean, look, I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but I mean, for one, technically speaking, he is innocent until proven guilty, and nothing's been proven in a court of law yet. So right now, he's innocent. But just saying, I mean, I'm trying to be fair here, because I do still believe in that innocent until proven guilty.
Now we're getting into a different kind of discussion that goes on Sunday nights usually, but I hear what you're saying.
But hey, I mean, look, like I said, if we're just staying in the entertainment realm, there is no shortage of entertainers, and some people, since the whole Me Too thing have started, a lot of them have been falsely accused, and it's come public, and those accusations were debunked, or they were bullshit. So that's one of the reasons why I say, especially when it comes to people in the public light, we have to give enough benefit of the doubt to say, okay, I want to hear the evidence. I want this thing to play out before I make up my mind one way or the other. Now, I'm not saying he's innocent by any stretch of the imagination. He's clearly done some things that were a bit shady, at least. But I mean, I do want to say that if we're going to give an avenue for for a comeback to anybody, we should give one to everybody if possible. I think that's fair.
Actually, you know what? A better maybe comparison then is like Michael Jackson. You're sitting there saying like, oh, he was diddling little kids, but like, you still had fans. You were still putting music out, and everybody was absolutely pumped for that last thing he was going to do. And people still
the guy, and he's a fucking pedophile. Disgusts me.
He could dance like a motherfucker. I'm just, I don't know.
I don't care. I don't care. People say, "Oh, it was all a lie." Whatever. You tell that to the children who were his victims.
If freaking Bruce Campbell, one of my favorite actors of all time, obviously Ash from the Evil Dead franchise, were to come out, oh, he's actually this kind of predator, that kind of predator, I'd never watch anything with him ever again, even though I'm a huge fan, been a lifelong supporter. If I knew at that moment in time it was legit, he's dead to me. It's done. And it's just with this Ezra Miller thing, he may not be convicted in a court of law, but there's a lot of smoke for there not to be any fire.
Court of public opinion, he's done.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously, I mean, to touch on what Frank said, yes, that Me Too thing, that was a big sham. There was a lot more than not were false accusations and claims.
No, Me Too needed to happen.
It was a good idea.
That was
too
one
far.
time coming in Hollywood.
Let's be honest.
Right.
It had its time, but now it's starting to go too far.
Right. Well, that's not what I'm saying.
They're using it as a crutch to be like, oh, look at me. I didn't know it. You didn't. Shut up.
Right. Well, now, obviously, there are like real stories in Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, all these other things that actually happened. But so many of those cases were bullcrap that there was never anything to them. It was just give me 5 minutes of spotlight from this. And I think this Ezra Miller thing is real though.
I think the problem is it seems like you bring this accusation to it, and I know it's like when you say, oh, a serial killer killed 10 people, and you're like, well, what's another 10, another 10, 20, 30? I'm like, what does it matter? I'm like, I feel like you're all just jumping on it now, and I'm like, what are you really adding to it instead of just being like, oh, look, that's right, he did it to me too. And I'm like, you may have. Right. You may really fucking have. But I feel like now, because you feel like you're not going to be heard now and have your moment, now you want to jump on to, oh, yeah, it's someone like Cosby. Right. It's someone like Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
Like, like I said, it's just like with anything. Humans fuck up everything that had good intentions. And it just becomes flipped on his head, and it just gets dumb, and then no one takes it seriously. That's the problem. I hate that.
And I'm not saying Ezra Miller could never act again. I'm saying he doesn't deserve $20 million a picture to play the Flash in 3 movies from now. He can go off and do his own thing as long as he's not convicted in a court of law, which is the standard that we've all agreed to live by. Of you did these things. Now, if he's ever convicted, he needs to be beaten to death with as viciously as possible. But until that point happens, he obviously needs some time for himself because he don't know what he is, who he is, or which bathroom to go to. So go figure your crap out. Don't go playing in the multiverse over here trying to save Batman. So good luck to you.
Well, remember, he was cast in all this before all this stuff came up.
So. Oh, I know. I just put a funny pun on it. I just wanted to end it with a funny pun. It made me laugh.
Well, and the reality is when they cast him, they may not have known anything about what he was doing.
I'm saying it may have been going on, but
and that's on Warner Brothers. They need to do their due diligence a little better than what they're dealing with if you're going to hire this guy. But
like I said though, the reason why I think the Me Too thing needed to happen in Hollywood very, very badly was because from its inception, Hollywood has been a place that has mistreated women.
Yeah.
I've talked about it on here before.
It goes back to the Black Dahlia murders times and everything.
Oh, that's not even close to being like a primary thing.
It's not just Hollywood, Frank. It's the workplace in general.
Hollywood itself has been way worse than most places.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not saying that like the workplace in general, especially the 60s, 70s, into the 80s, wasn't kind of mean to women, but I mean. Like literally, Hollywood is notorious for, hey, baby, you want this part in my movie? Maybe you need to come to my office. And,
and then the double standards of men can age and keep acting, but their co-stars that are women have to be of a certain age, and once you're a woman of a certain age, you get pushed out as the lead.
Yeah, that goes back a century in Hollywood. So
I've used this example before, but I'll use it again. Go watch Scream 3. The whole plot point of Maureen Prescott was she was a young actress in her 20s, and she was took advantage of by film producers in Hollywood before she left. You know what I mean? And that's how Roman, the film director in the movie, was born. You know, I mean, that was a literal plot point years before Me Too ever happened. This was what Scream 3 came out, late 90s, maybe early 2000 or something. And I mean, this was a plot point in that film, you know, so it's been known and it just hasn't gotten out there. So,
yeah, but I don't know. Ezra Miller is the gift that keeps on giving around here. but like I said, I do want to point out that this
Can I return this gift?
Yeah.
Or re-gift it somewhere else.
But yeah,
somebody's getting it for Thanksgiving. You know?
Yeah, it's so this is not a new thing. This is just new information that is being released publicly in this tell-all expose that is going to be coming out in Variety. I don't know when yet. So I'm sure that when this thing actually drops into Variety, it's going to get a whole lot. It's going to get a whole lot of hits on that website because this guy, we all want to know exactly where his insanity. Where it started, how far it got before he finally had his coming to Jesus moment, whether it was forced or whether it was some self-realization. I hope it was some self-realization, but I'm pretty sure it's probably forced. So let us know what you guys think about the ongoing Ezra Miller drama. It's not looking good for him right now, but again, he's getting help. Let's hope the help helps. That's all I'm saying. But that seems like a pretty good place to start wrapping things up.
How many helps can you get in one sentence, Frank?
I don't know. I don't know. Give me a chance. I'll type something out. I'll put it on Twitter later. How many helps can I get in there and have it make sense? Well, that's
help Frank get as many helps into one sentence because he really needs the help.
Somebody get Paul McCartney on the phone. Anyway,
somebody go down the comments below. Let us know what you guys think about all the stories that we talked about tonight. I'm sure you guys have plenty of things that you want to say about the things we talked about tonight. And until then, it's a good time to wrap things up because I have to go get another stream together. I think me and Connor from Horny Goat are going to be on here talking about the last couple episodes of She-Hulk here in the next few minutes.
Oh, fuck, sorry. Jesus.
The last episode wasn't bad.
You keep talking.
Do you have to apologize for being a man if you watch, Frank? Is that how it works?
Hey, it's an MCU show. It's a superhero show.
Just because you put your name on it does not fucking mean.
I only apologize when I'm sorry, and I ain't sorry because I watch the shows.
I gotta go wash my hair. I can't watch it.
That's how you. Fucking woman gotta wash her hair.
We do.
No, you're supposed to say you're sorry when you approach a woman. That's how you're supposed to approach them, as this episode showed.
Frank, were you going to do the Patreon thing as well?
I did not set it up. I'm actually going to do that
next
week. Okay. I may give away 2 next week.
I remember you talking about it.
It actually occurred to me like 20 minutes ago. I was like, I didn't have it set up on here, and I need to get out of here at a certain time so that I can do this thing with Connor and still get to bed at a decent hour because I have to get up a lot earlier than I had planned on getting up when I went to work today. So
don't let me have a visceral reaction like that again. Jesus, don't say that name.
So my schedule changed, so I had to change the schedule of the show a little bit.
Schedule.
But I do want to thank my great co-hosts for coming and hanging out with me tonight, starting with the Dowager Countess, Lady Cora. Where can the folks find you on the internet?
Here on your channel, on Drew's channel on Sunday, and otherwise I'm a ghost.
What, Cora, are you not going to tell them about your website, badtouch.com? Is that not your...
I don't think you want to Google it. That doesn't sound like it's going to...
Drew might clip this, so I kind of got to be careful how... I'm just going to say... Mr. Tex, I don't know what you're referring to.
We know. The kids don't know, but we know.
There you go.
What kids?
Don't know, but we know.
The kids don't know, but we know.
And of course, to the shape from the Lone Star State, my man Tex. Where can the folks find you on the internet right now, sir?
At /Vision on Twitter. I don't post a lot on there, but if y'all want to get at me, that's where you can find me. Go watch Rob Zombie's Monsters. It comes out Tuesday on Netflix. I may or may not have been a bad boy and found it online today, but you can't prove anything. And it's awesome. You must watch. Just think of the old show because it's exactly what you want from it. It's a family, as weird as this is to say, it's a family-friendly Rob Zombie movie. There may have been like 3 swears in the whole movie, and they weren't bad. So it's actually really good. But at Derailed, and I've been there on Sunday nights. That's about it. So, I'm not many places these days.
there may or may not be a Monsters review coming up in the next week or so if it's getting ready to drop. So, I mean, look, I feel like it's only fair that we give the movie its opportunity to shine. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go into it with this old show in mind, what it was, the environment that it came from. Don't go in expecting, you know, something dramatic and serious. Think camp, think cheese, because that's what it is, and it's a lot of fun. It's a fun movie, I'll say that.
And of course, to my hetero life mate Jeremy, you got some stuff going on your channel. What do you got going on?
Yeah, when stuff actually works.
Hey, I watched.
Yeah, I know. Well,
yeah, I tuned in.
I don't know how well you guys were able to watch, unfortunately. So
we could barely hear you on the last show. You were really, really low.
Yeah,
the game audio was the priority. I get it, but I could make you out. But
actually, it's actually not on my sliders. The game's actually lower, and I'm like way up here. So
well, and every time you
encountered a weapon.
Yeah. Every time you picked up something, that like feedback sound would play over the stream. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
but,
if it didn't do that in the first one, that's weird because I actually messed around.
It did not do it on the first episode at all.
What the fuck? And I don't even remember how I got that one to work in the first place because I couldn't hear anything, period. So I don't remember how I got my audio to work.
Right.
And I don't know. Someone said it's as simple. I don't know why I didn't think of it. It's as simple as going into your own computer settings and saying, "Oh yeah, I actually put it through your headset." I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Why did I?
Oh, okay.
I don't know, and that seemed to have fucked it all to hell. So I don't know. It's down there in the corner. It's Grim Tuesday 23. Look, I don't know. When I try to just straight up record an episode, it's what Tex just described every single time. I think I even jumped over. It almost sounded comical, like a little like an error noise. I jumped over a ledge, and my foot caught a piece of glass, and I was like, shit. It was like I was like, oh. How was that? And I got my neck bit out by a clicker, and it did that. And I went to swing.
Oh, nice.
So it did that same thing. I don't know what's wrong. I have some. Well, it's actually in my bag. Brooding Gamer actually texted me, and he said, "Here's a way to do it." I'm like, I know all that. Trust me, I have the means to do it. The problem is I can't play it on my TV like with my PlayStation. It skipped right over that good of the PC I'm on right now. And I'm like, well, with the screen this damn big, you're like, why don't you just get a game monitor? And at that point, why don't you just get a whole fucking PC? Just give in. Like, it's that's how dumb it is to me. And I'm like, that's what the problem would be. I'm like, I'm going to sit here on a small ass screen like, damn, I can't see that zombie. Where the fuck is he? I don't know. I may just have to suck it up and just deal with it. But hopefully the next one's better. That's a very long-winded way of saying I'm on YouTube at that name. So
yep. Go subscribe and like and do all the things.
Yeah, ring that bell, all that crap. We're trying to play through The Last of Us Part 1. I don't know. I wouldn't say I wouldn't ever redo it because it is a very fun game. Brittany Gamer said he'd edit some videos for me, so yeah,
I'm enjoying it. It's cool. Obviously, I don't know how The Last of Us skipped by me as big of a zombie guy as I am, but I'm really enjoying getting to watch the story as it goes. So and y'all check his shit out. It's good.
I was gonna say there's something like we talked about with Walking Dead where it's like you get to remember this is 20 years like you get to a point where it's like, oh wait, why didn't I think of that? There's a cool thing when we've mentioned his brother Tommy. You'll see what his setup is, and it's actually kind of ingenious.
Right.
But that's where that's in the fall, not quite winter. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm also on Twitter at the same handle. That's where I maybe post updates and crap. I don't really. I mean, y'all probably be bitching about work or something because I need to do more things. I need to do more things on Twitter instead of just doing that. Than being like, hey, I'm live and man, fuck work today. But hey, if you're into that kind of thing, I mean, there it is.
What is Twitter for if not random bitching?
What fucking old show was it I saw way back in the early 2000s? They were locked in a room and there's not really much internet in there, but the whole episode. It's a sitcom, whatever. The whole plot is they're locked in this room and they can't get out. There's no cell phones and shit. They're like the internet's only good. The internet's only good for two things: porn and complaining. I'm like, you're right. I will never forget. I don't remember what show it was. I remember that.
That's great.
I'm also on Twitch. Same name again. I haven't really been doing anything live. I've just been on YouTube. Like I said, I might start doing some stuff on YouTube, maybe just like reviewing a game, because actually it's sitting right above my shoulder here. There's Last of Us right there in the corner. Like I want to play through a game and then like do a little review on it because I have an idea for something in mind. So start putting those out there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hopefully this actually works the third time around, and got some more spooky shit coming for. Actually, it's right here. Got Outlast.
Sweet.
I've actually never played that, so that's that'll be fun. And then Modern Warfare 2 comes out, and I'll just I'll say I'll snipe some Timmies, but I might actually get my ass rolled. So who knows?
I downloaded the open beta, but it took forever to download. By the time it finally got done, the beta was closed, so I got to wait for another few weeks till the next weekend kicks in before I can put any gameplay on. I was gonna go online and play and grind it out a bit and try to get some views out of it. But
it's spooky season. I'm like my only free day anymore is like Monday now, and I'm like I can't even commit to doing that. So oh well. I mean, excuse me. That'll be at the end of October, which is the end of that. So then I'll have time to grind out before Christmas, before little Timmy gets it for Christmas himself. And hopefully I've got a rifle with enough fucking stopping power. Maybe I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but just, I'll stop myself right there.
Definitely go check out Jeremy. As for me, you can find me here every Thursday with all my co-hosts going over all the cool things that are happening in the world of movies, TV, and streaming. You can also find me on Sundays at 9 o'clock, whatever the hell time, my time, here in the Eastern? We're in the Eastern time zone, right? Yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern, over on the Derailed News and Podcast channel. We'll talk about all the stuff going on in the world of current events. Also, I think the next big review we have coming up that is going to be kind of its own show is going to be Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I think that's the next big one coming up. I mean, we'll probably do, like I said, probably next week at some point after we've had a chance to see it, we'll probably go ahead and give the Munsters a quick review. But the next really big one that we're probably going to make a little bit of a panel out of.
Where is that streaming?
Netflix.
Monsters is on Netflix. It drops Tuesday on Netflix.
Well, I got to start.
And don't forget, October 7th is is it Hocus Pocus or?
I think so.
October 7th.
Yeah.
I got to start watching Stranger Things finally, so I'll be on Netflix. So I mean, I'll at least get to watch it.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, I'm behind.
And we'll obviously be here again on Thursday talking about all the other stuff going on, whenever it breaks. So, of course, the next week we'll be here talking about it. I'll actually be back on here in about a half hour with Connor from The Horny Goat breaking down, again, She-Hulk. So come hang out with us then and talk She-Hulk if you're one of the people that's watching the show. We'll probably have it.
All 10 of you.
Maybe there's going to be some Andor talk coming up. I have not had a chance to watch the first 3 episodes of Andor yet. I just... new work schedules and everything, trying to keep up with the Thursday streams, just been a little busy, but hopefully at some point we'll be able to at least break down a little bit of Andor stuff. Maybe we'll just wait till the season drops completely and then we'll just
that's a good idea. Do a series
we'll kind of break it all. Yeah, we'll break it all down at one time. Maybe that'll be easier. I don't know. We'll see how Andor shakes out, because once I sit and watch the first 3 episodes, maybe I'm going to feel the need to jump right in front of the camera and talk about it. I don't know. But until then, we'll see you guys next Thursday. Thank you to all you in the chat that came and hung out with us. Very much appreciate it. BJ, EJ was here. Of course, Jeremy, Casey, they're trying to beg himself out.
Jen was here.
Yeah.
Rachel.
My woman was here. Rachel was here. We'll have Rachel on here again at some point, I'm sure.
Yes.
Tex is in there, obviously, going all the way back into the beginning. JSP was in here. What's up, JSP? Federico Garza was in here. So thanks to all of you for coming to hang out with us.
And
we'll
Drew
see you guys.
Haha.
Well, I mean, he's got stinky cheese to peddle around to everybody.
Maybe he's clipping.
Stuff, so he couldn't.
Maybe he's clipping Frank saying he wants to give fellatio to hard things.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe he was. Whatever. I mean, I'll be your Huckleberry if you want some clips here and there. I'll play.
Just say when.
Just say when.
I'm coming, and hell's following with me. The whole thing.
Yes, sir. Anyway, we will see you guys later. Adios. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Adios.